Hello, my name is Tyler and I work at the Hoffman Library in North Aurora. Over the past year I did a travel series called A Yarn About the World, where I was lucky enough to share my travel experiences with our patrons. Now in that series, attendees also worked on knitting and crocheting, so if the mood strikes, please continue that tradition and share in the comments some of the projects you're working on. My husband Adam and I love to travel. People always ask us why we do it, and the simple answer is, it's our escape. When I picture the world, things seem so exotic and distant and out of reach, and yet we can get on a plane and in less than 24 hours you can end up on the other side of the globe. Suddenly, the world becomes a little clearer because those spaces in our minds that had these preconceived notions of what we would encounter vanish. I know a lot of people are staying in place in their houses right now, but still looking for an escape, so I would love to take you on a journey to some of the places we've explored. Hopefully, once this period of time we're living through becomes a distant memory, it will inspire you to get out and explore, and create moments of your own that you can carry for years, and remind us all about the wonders that still exist in this world. For our first journey, let's explore Barcelona, Spain, one of Adam's favorite locations on the globe. Now before we get there, this is one where I have to talk about the plane, the famous Boeing 747. Probably one of the most iconic planes in the sky. Once the pride of any airline's fleet, today it's slowly becoming a thing of the past. It's no longer flown by the largest US airlines, so now your only chance is one of the international carriers, in this case, Lufthansa. Why did they stop flying this model? Cost. A 4-engine jet just doesn't make sense anymore. Was it different than any other flying experience? Not really. But for the simple chance to say that you flew on one, time is running out. For us, it's something we can cross off the list. Barcelona is the capital city of the Catalonian region, sitting on the Mediterranean Sea. It is the largest city in Spain after Madrid. The city and region have had a complicated balance with the rest of the country. The city sits as an autonomous region, which, while part of Spain, has its own language, Catalan, and parliament. I guess the best way I can picture it is similar to our own country's model, as a state within the broader country. Under the rule of Franco, language and autonomy were suppressed. Currently, the region is at odds with the Spanish government as it attempts to separate from Spain. In October of 2017, they voted to separate from Spain. Our visit in November of that year gave us a glimpse at the transformation they were attempting to undertake. The oldest section of the city is the Gothic Quarter. Built in the 17th and 18th century, it speaks to the cramped European city of the past. In scenes like this, I always envision the music of Les Miserables and how crowded city life must have been. The area was transformed for the 1929 Barcelona International Exposition, as most world fairs do, reinventing their city for the world stage. The city's cathedral, first constructed in 1339, resides in this area. A Gothic cathedral, it was transformed from its simple facade to resemble the more ornate Gothic churches of Europe. Dedicated to Eulalia, patron saint of Barcelona. On the cathedral grounds you'll find 13 geese to represent Eulalia, who was 13 when she was martyred. Throughout the Gothic Quarter are Roman ruins, a testament to the building prowess of an ancient society that has long since disappeared. Another point in the city made famous during the 1929 World's Fair is Montjuic, a tall hill overlooking the city. The site includes a former military fortress dating back to 1640 and more recently the 1992 Olympic Games. Adam and I are big fans of the Olympics, and it's always interesting to visit former Olympic sites. The 1992 Games were the final year where the Winter and Summer Games were held in the same year, Albertville, France hosting the Winter Games. It was the first Games since 1960 where South Africa was allowed to participate, the first Olympics post-Soviet Union breakup, and considered one of the biggest revitalizing factors for Barcelona. The contrast of a former World's Fair or International Expo site next to a former Olympic site fascinates me. Cities take great pride in presenting themselves, and the people of the world look forward to coming together to celebrate achievement. These sites, these monuments, are a testament to that. La Barceloneta was probably our favorite space in the city. A simple beach walk, I think as landlocked Coloradans, we long for the water. I have never seen yachts quite like the ones docked in the marina. I can only hope I'm at least a distant relative to the owners of these ships. For now, I'll admire from afar. The beach was covered with sea glass, which, for those of you who enjoy collecting, know is an unusual sight. Sea glass is just discarded glass polished by ocean currents and sand, and it makes for an interesting find. No trip of ours would be complete without interacting with a cat or two. I won't say these kittens were the highlight of the trip, but they were a big reason we stopped by the beach every day. Also in this area was the Olympic Port, another revitalization area spurred on by the '92 Games. This space hosted the sailing events during the Olympics. It was definitely a tourist area, but after a long day roaming the city, these spaces become a great escape. Everyone clamors for your business. You can sit back and enjoy a nice drink as the palm trees sway to the Mediterranean breeze. No trip to Barcelona is complete without viewing the architectural works of Antoni Gaudí. Gaudí is famed for his work in Modernisme or Catalan modernism architecture. This is a take on Art Nouveau, which was a bohemian mentality where art can cause change. Throughout his work, you'll find architecture in nature. This is all about natural shapes and forms. As we explore his buildings, look for trees, shells, scales, and skeletons. Perhaps his most iconic building is La Sagrada Familia, meaning Holy Family, which was consecrated as a minor basilica by Pope Benedict XVI in 2010. Construction began in 1882 under architect Francisco de Paula del Villar. Gaudí took over in 1883 and continued until his death in 1923, with only about a quarter of the building complete. In 1936, the Spanish Civil War broke out, destroying some of Gaudí's original models and plans. With modern building techniques, the basilica is anticipated to be complete by 2026. The building is a mix of modern and classic architecture. While the exterior looks old and gloomy, the interior is bright and airy. The stained glass illuminates the building with a vibrant array of colors that pull the visions of tree trunks and warmth of nature into the space. It really is a beautiful environment to explore. Passage de Gracia is the high-end shopping street. Picture Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles or the Champs-Élysées in Paris. While there was fancy shopping, the real stars were the prominent homes that line the streets. Here you'll find Casa Mila, also known as La Pedrera or the Stone Quarry. Another Gaudí design, constructed from 1906 to 1912, it was built with a private residence and apartments to rent out. Some of the most famous features of the building are the roof chimneys. Do they remind you of any forces in a galaxy far away? Gaudí was famous for his unusual use of texture. Broken champagne bottles and plates add an extra element to the exterior of the building. He was meticulous with his creation, even going so far as to design the furniture and even the door handles. Just down the block is one of his more elaborate buildings, Casa Bayo. Built in 1877, it was a grand home, but nothing that stood out from the rest. The home was purchased by the Bayo family in 1903, and while they liked the location, they hated the building. Gaudí was brought on to completely transform it. Mosaic tiles adorn the building. Throughout you'll see skeletons, the spines of snakes, and even dragons. I think a few Hollywood sets must have taken inspiration from this building. Today, it's a significant cultural heritage site preserved for the enjoyment of millions, but I do wonder what the neighbors thought of it back at the turn of the century. Another major street, La Rambla, is very similar to our 16th Street Mall. Street vendors sell art and souvenirs as crowds of people swarm by. Sadly, it was the site of a terrorist attack in August of 2017, fresh on the minds of many as we walked the streets. We did sneak out for a day and explore the resort town of Sitges, a 45-minute train ride from the city. A bustling destination in the summer, it was quiet during our trip, but still worth the journey. No trip is worth having without a good meal or two. Spain has a number of famous dishes, and we had our fill. The paella was delicious, sangria top-notch, and the churros and chocolate, well, hopefully the expression on my face says it all. Barcelona was a hidden gem. It's beautiful, it's lively, and the locals are friendly. I can see why people yearn to live on the Mediterranean. It's a city and region in transition, and no one is quite sure what the future will hold for them. For us, we look forward to an opportunity to return someday. In the meantime, here's more kittens. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this trip. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. We hope to have another destination up soon.